So once again, welcome to the Food Tech Pitch Night. My name is Mathilde and I host Pitch Nights at the Startup Club on the topics of food tech, but also fashion, beauty and green tech. The Startup Club helps connect the fundraising startups with investors and advisors that can help them on their fundraising journey through our Pitch Night event and also through our investor private meetings. We help startups reach their goals, also with pitch deck reviews, valuation reports, and also valuation workshops. And we offer several promotional activities across our wide network. We are proud to count over 70,000 members in our online network and over 50,000 investor connections over the world. Today's event is focusing on food tech companies, and I am happy to introduce you to two companies. One is from Poland and the other one from UK/Italy. The first one is called Hempeat. It's a food tech startup focused on developing plant-based foods using industrial hemp. This company is presented by Jacek Kramarz. The second one, Jacek. The second one is called Guditalia, and it's a blockchain-powered international farm-to-fork solution that gives the consumer access to artisanal Italian producers. And this company is represented by Jonathan Silvestri. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi.
Excited to have you here tonight, Jacek and Jonathan, and everyone else. So now a few words on the format. Each presenter has 7 minutes to pitch, followed by approximately 20 minutes Q&A with the board members. And if someone in the audience has a question or comment, you can either use the public chat and I will read the question if there is time, or you can ask the presenter in private or connect with them on LinkedIn. So now I would like to welcome the 4 board members that are with us tonight, and I will ask them to, they can shortly introduce themselves to the audience. We have tonight Sofija Bogeva from Rockstart Agrifood. We have Adrien Villalonga from Bogeva, Owen Zammit from PeakBridge, and Juan Ignacio Zaffora from Food. So maybe we can start with Sofija. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks, Mathilde, for the invite. I'm Sofija Bogeva from Rockstart Venture Capital and Accelerator. I'm the program lead in the Agrifood domain, leading and designing the Agrifood program and supporting also the funds team in the scouting and assessment process. Rockstart, for the ones you know, works globally. We have 3 offices, one in Copenhagen, Amsterdam, and one in Bogota in Colombia, investing in 3 domains aside of Agrifood, also in the energy and emerging tech domain, supporting purpose-driven founders. So that's on short.
Thank you so much and welcome. And okay, let's have an intro from Adrien.
Yes, hi everyone. Glad to be here with you today. So I'm Adrien. I'm investment associate at Bogeva Ventures. So my role is to manage deal flow for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And about Bogeva Ventures, so we are a venture fund and accelerator specialized in food tech and agri-tech. My fund specifically, the one I'm working for, focuses on 2 sectors: alternative proteins and what we call high impact ingredients. So on the alternative protein end, it's like plant-based sector, fermentation and cultivated meats. And on high impact ingredients, it's all the different types of ingredients that try to replace ingredients that are currently not sustainable or unhealthy. And yeah, we do 2 types of investments: accelerator investments and direct investments, so from $200,000 up to $2 million, and we invest worldwide.
Okay, thank you so much. And now let's have an intro from Juan. Hi.
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 Hello. Yeah, I thought I was the 4th one, but you got me in surprise.
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry. So yeah, I am Juan. I'm from EIT Food, and EIT Food is European Institute of Technology, focusing on food, and we have 3 missions. One is healthier lives through food. The second one is a net zero food system. And the third one is a more resilient, trusted, and sustainable food system. So we work in several domains in those missions. And I'm in charge of the 2 early stage startup programs for Southern Europe. So I manage a venture builder and an incubator for pretty much all the Mediterranean countries.
Okay, thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you.
And our fourth board member is Owen. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yes, correct. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Matilda, for the invite once again. So my name is Owen. I work with PeakBridge Venture Capital. So we are a remote team, basically a food tech firm. And we invest in food tech startups, primarily in the B2B space, having a proprietary tech element. And we usually invest from seed up to Series B in companies in Europe, Israel, and US across our funds. And we mainly look for 5 key verticals, so ingredient innovations, health and nutrition, alternative protein, digitalization, and alternate farming systems. So that's kind of our key focus. I'm senior analyst, and I'm mainly in charge of due diligence and the deal flow management and all things kind of sourcing. So that's my key role. Happy to be here today. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you all for the intro. So now we will start with the first pitch. So the floor is for Jacek from Hempeat. So welcome, Jacek. When you're ready, you can share your screen and you can start the pitch.
Hello, thank you, Matilda. Hello to everyone. Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure and a good opportunity for us to present Hempeat. I will share my screen. Let me know when it's visible, okay? Right.
Yes, I can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will put on the full screen. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So yes, our name is Hempeat. We are a food tech startup dedicated to developing plant-based foods made with hemp protein. Hemp protein is the most sustainable protein source for plant-based foods. We have developed a portfolio of plant-based meat products that we have launched in Poland in the HoReCa segment. So for food professionals, we are selling right now to restaurants and catering companies. And we are right now looking actively for partners, also capital partners, who would help us in our journey to scale up our business also into the retail segment, as well as internationally. Hemp is a very interesting ingredient. It has been part of our diet for centuries, and in some parts of Europe, it was the dominant source of plant protein. And hemp plant is interesting also from the perspective of its ecological properties, because it has the potential to consume more CO2 than any other plant or any other protein-rich plant. Hemp has such a big potential that even the EU Commission endorses the use of hemp as part of the European Green Deal policies. Currently, the plant-based meat market is dominated by soy, with pea being the second biggest player and growing rapidly. But we believe that hemp has many advantages over the both. First of all, it has a greater potential or greater environmental potential for CO2 absorption. Hemp is easy to grow. It does not require any fertilizers or does not require the use of pesticides. Hemp protein is very nutritious and is easily digestible. Therefore, we believe that it has huge potential to play an important role in the mix of the protein sources for the future. Based on hemp protein, we have developed products that have the texture, the taste, the the juiciness of meat. And we are currently already selling that product in Poland. We look into 3 segments with our products. So on the right, you can see the nutritional values for Hempeat, which is also, it's the name of the brand, but it's also the name of the ingredient, in a sense that from the hemp protein, we have developed technology to obtain the structure of meat. And we call this itself a Hempeat technology and a Hempeat ingredient, from which we are able to form further products like burgers, minced meat, sausages, and other products. And we are offering the products into different segments. We started with, as I said, hotels, restaurants, and catering companies. We are also in talks with food manufacturers and manufacturers of ready-to-eat dishes in Poland. And we have developed also a retail brand that we presented for the first time 2 weeks ago during the trade fair in Warsaw. And we are already in talks with the largest Polish food chains, such as Carrefour or Biedronka, that is part of Jeronimo Martin's group. We have developed a financial model. We have calculated the model in 3 different scenarios. I think in the short pitch, there is no time to run through those numbers, but we can discuss them in detail at the later stage. Here, let's say some photos demonstrating the product, how it looks. This is a real product that is being offered to customers right now. It's you can see that it's of really good structure, and I assure you also the taste is great. We have different forms: burgers, meatballs, and other formats. We started selling in April last year. We are right now in more than 100 restaurants in Poland. We are growing at the pace of 5 to 10 restaurants each month, and we already established a distribution network in all major Polish cities. So we have the capacity or capability to deliver products to all restaurants in Poland. During the summer, we did this very nice hemp truck that was serving dishes made with Hempeat on large music festivals in Poland, including Opener Festival that is sponsored by Heineken. Opener is visited by 200,000 people. So it's a very big event, and we have sold more than 2,000 portions of dishes made with Hempeat during that festival, which allowed us to collect a lot of feedback from clients or from customers. We are also part of a startup impact program with Żabka. Żabka is the largest retailer in the segment of convenience stores in Poland. Żabka has more than 8,000 retail locations in Poland. It's a huge player for the Polish market. We have we have won a competition that organized by Żabka and are now part of their startup impact program. And we are working with other large food companies in Poland, such as Nice to Feed You, that is making it's like a delivery diet. So they are delivering prepared dishes for the whole day, every day. So you can order for yourself a menu of 5 dishes for each day, and they deliver it to your house every day in the morning, so that you have your diet for every day supplied by them. Which is a very nice cooperation for us, because they deliver more than 20,000 packages of 20,000 diets every day. They are a very large player in Poland. These are some examples of restaurants that have our products. I don't know how well do you know the Polish gastro scene, but some of those restaurants are very popular and very recognizable. So it's good for us also to promote our brand working with them. We care about the intellectual property of our company. The Hempeat technology has potential for patent. We have checked the eligibility for patenting, and there are two solutions that we are using that we are thinking that might have that potential. We have not filed for a patent, but there is an opportunity to protect it. Of course, all the company trademarks are protected. It refers to both Hempeat as a word trademark, as well as a brand, and also Hemp Track is also a protected brand. The team consists of the main team. The lead team consists of 4 people. Myself, I come from the financial industry. In 2015, I was one of the founders of a company called Hemp Poland. It was the first company in Poland that got licensed to grow industrial hemp. We mainly grew hemp at that time for extraction of cannabinoids, so it was effectively a CBD company, and we were one of the top 5 companies in Europe within that space. In 2018, I sold that company together with my partners to a Canadian publicly listed company, and Hempeat is my next venture. Bartosz Kamieniecki is a co-founder, and he's in charge of our technology. He worked with all the largest retailers in Poland, has more than 15 years of food design. Albert Szpindowski, also as co-founder, is our sales director. He had previous experience in the structures of companies such as Nestle and Bonduelle. And Maciej Partyka is also our co-founder and the marketing director. Maciej worked for very long in Campania Piwowarska. That is the largest company in Poland that produces and distributes beer. So he understands a lot about the brand building, brand positioning, and also working with different verticals on the market. He has experience from Saatchi & Saatchi. He worked with Volkswagen Group, and very notably was also the marketing director for Sante. Sante is the largest producer of healthy foods in Poland. They produce healthy snacks and dry products. It's a household name. They are in every supermarket chain. So he's also a very strong member of the team. We have, this is basically the investment story of the company. We have founded the company from our own funds in the pre-seed stage, which allowed us to build or develop the product. In May last year, we have landed our first angel investor that supported the company with the amount of slightly more than 200,000 euro. And we are now raising a round that would help us to scale up in retail. We have already an investment fund from Poland committed to invest 500,000 euro. And with their investment policy, they always need a partner that will match their investment. So with additional 500K, the investment will be closed. We need at the moment, we are raising between 1 to 2 million euro. 1 million euro for now is enough to fund our plans until we are able to source bank financing. Thank you very much. I probably ran a bit more than 7 minutes, but apologies, and I'm happy to take your questions.
Thank you so much, Jacek, for a great pitch with a great energy. 12 minutes is all right. Okay, so now we will move to the Q&A, and we can have this order: Sofija, Adrien, Juan, and then Owen. All right, so Sofija, you can start.
Thank you for the great pitch, Jacek. To be honest, I don't really have questions. Actually, I have only one question. I think the pitch was like quite clear. I really like the visuals and how it was structured. Operationally, I can see you have like the capacity to deliver and execute. Your traction is very well. My question will be, considering that a hemp is something coming like as a new trend after the soy and the pea, what do you think will be some of the external threats to the market moving forward? Do you see someone else, some other type of maybe similar product to take over the market? Is it more in terms of like technology and so on? What would be your kind of take on that?
Thank you. So we perceive ourselves as a company that is operating in the, let's say, space of plant-based food or plant-based meats in particular. So we operate by the rules of that particular market. Hemp as an ingredient is the USP for our products. So this is what differentiates us from the crowd. The question remains whether it is enough a strong argument for the consumer to make that first trial. And if it is, and if they are able to make that first trial, we have to deliver on the basis of taste, structure, and all the other components to make an impact on the consumer so that he is willing to reach for the product again. Hemp is, okay, for the lack of better word, is kind of like a sexy ingredient. Is from the marketing standpoint, the consumer is immediately interested, especially in the younger demographics that effectively are overrepresented in the population of consumers of plant-based meat. So when they see the connection with hemp, they don't have the barrier to try it, and they are even interested to try it. And there is this wow and surprise moment when they do. Because they do not expect this product to, or they do not associate it with food or with plant-based meat. So when they do, they try, they are surprised, and it's a pleasant surprise. So we've seen it on their faces many times, and from our perspective, it resonates. Of course, right now, hemp is sort of a niche ingredient. It's not so popular as other ingredients for plant-based foods. So as we scale up, there might be also in the foreseeable future, I do not see the issue of the supply chain, but that's something that in a very, very long run might be limiting. Also on the price point, other plant-based ingredients are cheaper, but we are managing right now to have a healthy business with 45% margin on gross sales, and being at our price point is on par with other plant-based products in Poland, where from my perspective, the price point is a bit lower than the price point on the Western markets. So even with those challenges, we are able to manage. Also, from my personal background, I'm board member of the European Industrial Hemp Association. So it's effectively a lobbying body that is representing hemp industry in Brussels. And I have connections to all the largest seed and seed-derived product producers. So I'm able to source ingredients directly from the largest producer through my personal connection. And if necessary, I'm able to ask them favors and be really on time and sharp with all the deliverables.
Thank you, Jacek. I don't have other questions.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sofija. Adrien?
Yes, so first, thanks a lot for your great pitch. My first question is kind of linked to Sofia's question. So I think it's super interesting because there's a strong need on the market in the end for an ingredient that would replace soy protein as an ingredient for plant-based foods. Like a lot of corporates in the end are looking for, like food corporates are looking for potential alternatives. mostly for sustainability reasons, but you talked about that already. And why do you think you're among the first to do that? Why have so few people done it before, and why are there not already so many products on the market that are using hemp as a basis because it's more sustainable, etc.?
Okay, so I've been within the hemp space for so first of all, hemp is a plant that I think for the large food producers is a bit under the radar. So they do not recognize it as a potential ingredient for their products. On the other hand, the hemp companies, and I've been running one of the first and one of the most successful hemp startups in Europe. They were focused on cannabinoids, so on CBD products, and they have not noticed the opportunity within the use of hemp protein that manifests itself. And the third thing is that from the technological standpoint, it's not easy to obtain the product with the right structure using hemp protein, and it's even a bigger challenge to meet a price point that allows to get a healthy margin. So I think that from the perspective of the large company, they have not noticed hemp as a potential ingredient. I think they currently still believe that the supply of the hemp protein to the market is not enough for them to get interested in using it as their ingredient. For the startup companies, from the hemp space, they have never thought of venturing into that space, and other plant-based startups, I think that at the time when they started developing their technology, they also have not thought about doing it from hemp.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. Thanks a lot. I also had a question on the characteristics of a product, because so you use hemp as a basis, and then you process it to do different types of products. And what are the characteristics of this base, like the color? Does it add a particular taste to the mix that you maybe need to remove? Yeah.
No, the product base, the Hempeat, does not have any strong distinctive taste, which allows us to be, it's relatively flexible, so it allows us to profile the product well. Also on the coloring side, we do not see big challenges in getting the right color for the product. So from this perspective, it's relatively comfortable for us to work with hemp protein.
Yeah.
But we are doing it in an original way, and it's not very intuitive on how our technology is prepared. So I think Bartosz, that is our CTO, did a very, very good job on that front, because he's using different, basically production steps that make it much more cost efficient, I would say.
Okay. Okay, great. And actually, I have a last question. I don't know how many questions we can ask.
That's fine.
It's fine. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So my last question was more on the business model. So you chose to use hemp and then make products out of it. So own a quite big part of a value chain. Why not build an ingredient that you then sell to other plant-based food companies, and that they would use to sell to build products and sell them under their own brand?
Mm-hmm. That's something that we are working on as well. The hemp protein overall is available on the market. So you can buy it in tens of tons or in hundreds of tons. This ingredient is already available. We are working on a different technology to utilize the, I might not be correct on the vocabulary here, but when you have the press cake from pressing the oil from hemp, then you have the press cake, and the press cake is still rich in protein, but has a lot of fiber. So we are working on the extraction methods to concentrate the protein in the press cake, because currently this is mainly used for feed, and it's relatively inexpensive. And we already have this technology to extract the hemp protein from that particular substrate of the value chain. We are not using it in our final product at the moment, but we are looking into incorporating that. But that's also a vertical that might be built as part of our venture.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jacek.
Thank you, Adrien. And now it's Juan.
Sure. I was writing down my questions, and my colleagues already asked a few. Let me go deeper into your following roadmap, because you mentioned that the following round, and you're doubling pretty much the valuation of the previous round that was less than a year ago. So I would really like to understand this growth path and the roadmap, if you can go deeper on that.
Sure. So I think it's easier if I resume the slide. Yes. Yes, this one. Yes. So we have raised 200,000 euro. Sorry, last year at the valuation of it was 18 million zlotys, so roughly 3.8 million euro. And right now we are looking for 1 to 2 million euro at the valuation of 28 million zlotys. That is 6 million. And the VC fund from Poland has already confirmed its interest at this level of investment. But of course, if the partner who would be interested to join that group, we are open to discuss it. We have delivered on all our promises from the previous round. The first round that we've raised was when we only had the product, we haven't been on the market at that time. And since then, we have opened the doors to more than 100 restaurants. We are opening doors to new ones every day. We are already in discussions with large retailers. We have implemented IFS broker quality assurance system. The certifying audit is scheduled for the 30th of June. So that will be another tick mark. We are in talks with Żabka. Żabka is a very, very large retailer in Poland, and it's a convenience store, very popular with younger demographics. We are preparing a ready-to-eat dish for them to be launched under either their brand or ours, and that might be a huge boost. So there are a lot of exciting things coming that we think that we are able to close. We have proved to be good in execution over past year, so we are confident we will deliver on our next plans.
Okay, so let me see if I understand it properly. You will not grow in a portfolio very much, but you're looking to expand your sales in your current products. Is that right? Mostly, that's the strategy for next year, I would say.
Correct. Yes. The products for retail, they are slightly different than the products for the food professionals, for HoReCa. So because just as an example, the restaurants, they need product frozen. And for retail, it's usual in Poland, it's mainly a chilled product. There is no single frozen plant-based product in the Polish supermarkets at the moment. We want to offer it. We will see how it goes. We see that might be an interesting opportunity that is unexploited at the moment. But then the chilled product from the technological standpoint must be a bit different compared to the frozen one, of course, because it's, I mean, it's stored differently, so it needs to be also preserved differently. Yeah? And when we talk about the product, I'm also thinking about, you know, the packaging, the labeling, which of course for the food services sector is completely different to retail. So in terms of the portfolio, we are now selling only the food services portfolio. We have developed already a retail portfolio, but we are in discussions with the retail chains. So also from that discussion might come a need for some additional NPD with our products, because if, you know, at the end we arrive to the conclusion with them that we need to change the size a bit, or we need to change some minor things, that's a technological development every time, right?
Good. And just a final and short question. I saw you were into an impact-driven accelerator. Do you have any impact KPIs or impact indicators that are you working on?
That might be, let's say, a miss on my side. I'm not familiar with the technology. So impact indicators, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I don't know the answer. Sorry.
Yes, fine.
But I will check, and that's, I mean, from the perspective of our, let's say, values and the mission, we think that, or we want to make a sustainable and healthy products. So that's part of our mission. And if there are structures or indicators that allow us to measure our execution in that part, which I understood is the impact indicators, yes, then that's something that I need to pay attention to, and I will check. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Juan. And now the last is Owen.
Congrats, Jacek, on the achievement and pitch. First of all, I just had one or two short questions. You mentioned earlier regarding the main activity of hemp players, which you said it was mostly related to cannabinoids. Maybe related to that point, is there like how much processing or like testing is required in your process, if any, to remove like cannabinoids, of course, from the final, make sure that there isn't any in the final product, and how complex and time consuming is this?
So that's not an issue at all. The cannabinoids are in the flower and the protein is in the seed. So there is basically no cannabinoids within the seed, and they are using only that. So even if there is a contamination from the flower, it's at such a low level, and in any case, it is controlled. We are buying the seed products from the manufacturers of the seed products, and they need to check it by themselves as well. So they have to present us with the specification and the certificate, or the certificate confirming that the product is compliant with their specification. So it's checked at this level, and no further checks are needed. And when we're talking about the final product, then in the final product, hemp is the main ingredient, but of course there are also other ingredients, and there is moist added into the product. So on the final product, even if in the product that is used as an ingredient, there might be some minor parts of the cannabinoids, in the final product, it's so negligible that it's not worth.
Okay. Makes sense. And maybe in terms of nutrition, I know there was a slide, but how does hemp compare, or the final product compare nutritionally in terms of protein and all the other nutrients with the traditional plant-based options?
Yes. So I come back to the presentation. Sorry. Yes, so it's here. So per 100 gram, it's 252 calories. So it's less than meat, and I think it's on par with most of other plant-based products. We strive to have large protein content, and I think for this base product, it's good. For burgers, it's 17 gram of protein per 100 gram.
Okay. Thanks. I think that's it from my end.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for the feedback, and yeah, thanks for the tips. So, right.
I posted my contact details in the comments, so if anyone wants to set up individual call, go through me, through the numbers or through our business model, meet other team members, all speak English. We are happy to do it. And yeah, looking forward to stay in touch, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. I will be sharing a contact list to everyone with all the attendees also. So that I will do that tomorrow, so that's also taken care of. Okay, so then yes, we will move to the second presenter. It's Jonathan with the Guditalia. So hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Mathilde. Hi.
Hi. Okay, so I will now share the screen. It's a video pitch. So just 1 minute. And let me know if you can hear the sound.
Excellent, thank you. Really good job, Charles. Well, so look, this next startup, I think we've got a really tasty one for you. I know, the puns are only going to get worse. But with that, I'd like to welcome to the stage the CEO of Guditalia, Jonathan.
Dimmi quando.
Oh. Yeah, it's very low.
Son, talented Italian.
So he could recreate the flavors from back home. And his secret was always use authentic ingredients and finding parts, because he'd always get them directly from Italy. And that's how I met Salvatore, Fiammetta, and Francesco. And we all had one thing in common. We were all helping our parents. Now, Salvatore today is making the most amazing liquid gold olive oil you could possibly imagine. Fiammetta, she's crafting organic pasta at the family estate. And Francesco, when he's not drinking all the wine, is supposed to be making it with his family, as they have done for generations. However, producers as talented as these, trying to reach the UK market, they find it very difficult. If you add language barriers, logistical costs, every other barrier you can think of, they simply cannot satisfy distribution demand, and they avoid selling to the UK altogether. And all of that has created a space of fake food, a fake food industry that's worth £120 billion a year, leaving consumers with little choice but to buy mislabeled, poor quality food. Introducing Guditalia, an international farm-to-fork solution that lets you not only buy from these amazing producers, but using a recommendation engine, matches taste to every order. So the consumer only finds what they love, matched to their preferences and sent straight to their door in a box. It's the taste that builds the box. Now, there are three very important letters in Italian food production, and they are P, D, and O. Protected designation of origin. It's the highest attainable stamp of quality. It's a mark of excellence. And now with Guditalia, it also includes provenance. Now, Guditalia's use of blockchain technology provides transparency and traceability throughout the supply chain. And this ensures that the customer can track the entire journey of their food product from farm to fork. Now, we don't just bring tech to the table. We've developed relationships with 200 producers throughout Italy. We've de-risked the buying process. They send direct to us first. No overheads. And why? Because they trust us. So how do you know that your amazing food from Francesco or from Fiammetta has arrived at your door? Well, together with our partners at Unisot, we are addressing the problem of food fraud in the industry by adding a unique QR code to each order. So when scanned, reveals all the most important information a consumer should have today, from producer estate to food origin, the final mile arrival of your box. Yes, we have some competitors in the industry, but what makes us such strong contenders? Well, it is this level of traceability, trust, and transparency that sets us apart from everybody else. Our total addressable market is £1.5 billion, with a compound annual growth rate of 16.6%. Leaves us in a good position for future market share. We also acknowledge that up till now, our competitors have captured the Italian market with no authentic farm-to-fork products. In addition, an industry worth 120 billion of fake food, we're in a very good position to take advantage of an untapped market. Our business model is very simple. Revenue is generated from producer sales and box creation. We begin locally in London, moving to UK major cities, because today we are Guditalia, but tomorrow we are good France, good Germany, good India. We have a strong appetite for growth, and we plan to go global. Our go-to-market strategy is building food, communities, influencers, events, word of mouth to engage and involve future customers. So why are we here? Well, just as a seed needs water to grow and to flourish, well, we need your money. And if you'd like to know where your investment will go on this journey to create an incredible food ecosystem, please come and see us afterwards, because today, for the first time, with some pre-orders, you can match your tastes to your first box delivery of real, authentic Italian food. And tonight we had our first customer. So I'll be waiting for you afterwards. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, I hope you could hear the video. Can you, oh, okay.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. So, okay, I hope the sound was fine. So, okay, so we can now start with the questions and comments. We start with Sofija.
Hi, thanks for the pitch. Jonathan, I have a few questions. My first one will be around what's the pain that the customers and the suppliers are having in first place? Why would a supplier come to you, or why would a customer come to you? I guess there'll be quite a lot of premium price having products delivered directly from Italy. So maybe a little bit first on that, and then I'll follow up.
Sure. Thank you, Sofija. So essentially, we act as a fiscal deposit for the producers. The producers will send to us. So we don't traditionally buy as most suppliers would. So we're not a traditional distributor in that sense. What we do is we give the producers a platform to be able to connect with the consumer, and then that box is built through that. But the products that we have are already in situ. That's why we can have a fast turnaround. So once they've gone online and they can
match everything to their preferences and tastes, makes the buying process online a bit easier. And the experience is then enhanced by the storytelling from the producer, the product. So it's all artisanal products, nothing is mass produced, so we can control it a little bit better along the supply chain at least.
Does that mean that currently they don't have any other way of selling their products to the UK?
Not these small producers, no. It's very expensive. Aside from that, things are slowly changing now. So you have more of a generation of producers that have taken over from their parents. But when you're producing small amounts, which are the best quality food, and Italy has a very strong tradition of that, if not perhaps the highest quality in the world, then for them to come to the UK to have storage, to then have accountants and commercialistas and the marketing, like and the stuff, it's very costly, and so it's not cost effective for them to be able to do that. But if they have us, we can hold the product for them. We do the storage, the marketing, and the final mile delivery as well. So it enables them to build a brand without having to be in the UK.
I see. And then on the other side, on the customer, because it's a small producer and you do all the marketing for them, that means that they're going to be, me as a customer, I should pay more of a premium price to get the right products from Italy. Have you validated the interest from the market into acquiring such products?
Well, the market, so Italian food is always, as you can imagine, popular. I think it's voted #1 cuisine, and Rome is the #1 place in the world to visit for food. So the Made in Italy brand kind of sells itself. So there are lots of other different companies that do box delivery services like Gusto and HelloFresh and Oddbox, all this kind of stuff. Aside from the fact that it's difficult to find out where that food is actually from, the products that we get, because we get them direct from the producer, there's no distribution channels in between. There's no brokers. If you have a product that comes into the UK and you go to any delicatessen or any shop that sells Italian food, the markups are considerable. So we can give the customer or the consumer, the user, access to products which are of the highest quality, but for a lot less.
And in terms of the business model, how does it function? Who pay? Is it like a transaction fee per what is sold? Is it kind of a model? Like how does it work, the business model?
So we have 3 revenue streams. The first one is, so the producer sends us the product, and there's a transaction fee per item sold. So 70% goes to the producer and 30% comes to us. But then we have the box creation, which then we take the share from the box creation. So, and storage for the warehouse is a very small set fee of 100 per month. So that keeps the warehouse going. So if there's any problems, we still have revenue coming to keep warehouses going. But the main, we pivoted halfway through the incubator that we were in because we realized we could double the revenue. So our gross revenue is 65% more or less now, as opposed to what it would have been before. It was just transaction fee from the producer.
And my other question will be, what do you think will be the catalyst that will make your platform scale?
So like anything, investment is our main driver for scaling. The UK market is very dynamic. Things move here quickly, which, I'm half English and half Italian, so I chose the UK market for a reason. It's a very stable market. In fact, England or UK even has the largest spend per capita for online shopping at £64 per shop. So there's always a very strong desire and an appetite for products, especially from delivery services. But with us, the extra not only mile, but our service includes a storytelling which is it's kind of unavailable at the moment. You can't, aside from the fact that if you go on a website to buy Italian products, it's impossible to know what to buy, how to use it, where it's from. So people kind of refrain. They'll go through pages and pages and pages, and it doesn't really give them any. There's no user experience essentially. And so we, aside from trying to de-risk the entire process along the supply chain, which is what a lot of companies are still struggling with. We wanted to make the user experience something a little bit more indicative of what we're trying to do, but also unique to us as a brand and as a business.
Do you have already like producers that you've established collaboration that kind of ensure that they're gonna join the platform after it goes live? How do you map the producers in Italy? You said there's like 25 regions, but
Yeah.
do you already have someone already kind of committed to?
Yeah, so we have we have close to 300 producers that we can probably start with, and I've been building these relationships for a very long time. But to start with that many is probably not a great idea for beginning, or for us at least to start with. We'll probably go between 40 to 50 producers and then scale from there, because logistically we need to get that match correct. So to onboard everybody at the same time, so the producers can go on the back end, and they can upload their products and their shops and their estates, and so people can see them. That's for us is a lot of admin to do too quickly. So if we can add them at a pace, it makes it a little bit more, I suppose, logical. From that perspective, we have access to a lot more producers than we really need even at the moment. We have a limitless amount of producers that we can go to, purely because of the network that we have. Italy on its own, and this is a peninsula with 60 million people, has 750,000 wine and food producers. For its size, has more than anyone else in the world. So there is no lack of producers that we can tap into. The question is, which is best for the consumer in the UK? So it's also a very good way for us to test the market as well with different products.
And then my last will be, and I'll stop here. I guess the other members of the jury has something to say. There are different platforms, at least here in Denmark, like that does the same thing, like merging the local small farmers, organic food to the door. But it's very hard market to survive on. So like economies of scale on a wrong one, and how the competition and the big players will kind of overtake this in the future. What would be your take on that? Yeah, I'll stop here. Give a floor to the others. So that's kind of my last.
All right, thanks, Sofija. So it's a very important question, because it is a very difficult market. It's a very competitive market. What we aim to do is it's not just to have a local farm producer sending stuff to the UK to then sell it to the consumer. The main point for us is to acknowledge the brilliance of these producers, the uniqueness of them, but sell it in a way that is much more engaging. So when you go on the platform, your taste profile is determined by your taste, your preferences, so sweet, salty, sour, grilled, dried, all these different things, and it creates a profile for you as a user, and it will take you to where you need to go very, very quickly without you having to scroll through things, and then you get lost and you decide to disengage, because people don't stay on a platform for too long if they don't know what they're looking for. So using AI, we can generate a perfect box for the consumer. So with different tiers of boxes, there'll be 3 different tiers to begin with. You can really just see exactly what's going to be in that box for you. So we build that box for the consumer. So on average, each box will contain 7 to 10 products from 7 to 10 different producers, and it gives them the aperitivo and a meal all in the same box. And so without them having to select individually from each different one, what the system does is it makes it a lot easier for them to choose a box and have it delivered without them having to go through all the mess like you would do normally. And so that's the idea, and it's something that we've had a lot of good feedback for, because it makes the system, or the ordering system, so much more easy, and also for us to manage. It's companies that will be doing as they are doing traditionally now. It is very labor intensive, and it makes a difference if you can simplify that process. So if you had a box of these different products that you've selected, and if out of 10, for example, 3 you didn't want, you would just click on the 3 you didn't want, and it would then shuffle it so that you could then say, right, I confirm this order. This is what's going to come in the box, and that's what I like. And if you had an evening with friends and each of them had a different profile or taste profile persona on the platform, it will only suggest things that everybody will like. So if nobody likes Tajaski olives, it wouldn't put them in the box. So it's really just simplifying the system. People don't have so much time to do this anymore. They want to go online, they want to choose the best products from the best producers, and at a click of a button, they want that product delivered to their door as quickly as possible. And that's essentially it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sofija. And then now we have Adrien.
Yes, thanks a lot. So I have two questions. Both are kind of on the customer side of things. So first, I suppose your prices are of the premium, and you mentioned also several times that the storytelling was really a big part of also the value proposition. So I'm curious, who is really in a very precise way, like you target customer, like your real buyer persona, that puts a lot of value in this storytelling, that cares a lot about this storytelling, and that is willing to pay also premium prices.
So first of all, so the premium, the prices aren't really that premium compared to other box delivery services. The prices that we can actually charge the consumer are very accessible, I should say. In terms of how we're going to reach our market, London has a very big Italian community, and I have a lot of very good contacts and friends within that community, and also the Italian trade agencies. And what something like this would benefit from more than anything else is also word of mouth. Word of mouth is going to be very important for us, and many food influencers who are invaluable in that space. Food and just seeing food kind of, not promotes the sale, but it makes people very curious. So if we get the correct balance for that, customer acquisition costs are always going to be high, and that's just a given. Doesn't matter how you look at it. But using social media, we can try and lower that as much as possible. And then any things that we can that we have budget for, we can then use them at events. We can use them at farmers markets. We can use them at different food events around the London area. We start in London for a reason, so we consolidate the boroughs around the city, because London is a very complicated ecosystem, if you like. So north, south, southwest, they all have their idiosyncrasies. So for us to start in an area that we know that it is very popular for Italian food is where we would begin, and then we would just move northwards, and we wouldn't necessarily move to France or Germany or the US until we have a good footing or good foothold here.
Yeah. Okay, great, thanks. And I saw one on your slide that you mentioned blockchain technology.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know if you've talked to some of your like typical consumers, like customers, and that told you that they were reassured by the fact that the traceability of a product was guaranteed by blockchain in particular, if it's something that they valued as well.
So it's something that is becoming more needed, more diffused now, especially there are always, this project really started because of an incident in the UK market, and that's been revisited again with pork. So what the big distributions and the big supermarkets have done is they were bringing in pork that had gone off, basically, and mixing it with normal pork and then selling it in the supermarkets. And they've only told people now 6 years later. In fact, there was I think the European Union have a committee that traces and checks certain food items in the European Union, and they asked the UK to submit samples of honey. And each one of those, of the 10 they sent, was actually fake honey. It wasn't real. So they bring in stuff, they reprocess it, and they sell it back. So this is a big concern. And there's a European directive now. The European Union is pushing this over the next couple of years, that most producers will need to be certified. Italy already has this. We have over 800 different certified labels, which is the highest of any country in Europe. I think England, in comparison, has 22. So this is going to become much more prominent and pertinent going forward, so that if a business is already showing the consumer, look, this is where your foods come from, this is what is in it, and you can check that, it's going to reassure them much more than going to the supermarket or wherever and buying a product that has an Italian flag on it and they have no idea where this food is from. So for us, this is a very, very important aspect of our business as well.
Yeah, and is there still appeal? I mean, I think for some people that are very like technology oriented or like always look at the news, like technology news, well aware of like what blockchain technology is, what it can prove, this kind of things. For some people who are maybe less aware, like have you tested their response to you telling them, okay, this is blockchain technology and it allows to prove the traceability?
So we've run many surveys, and what has come back is not necessarily, oh yes, I'm aware of blockchain and I'd love blockchain to be able to do that for me. What's come back is, yeah, I want to know where my food's coming from. I want to know what I'm putting in my body. You can go, and I say this to many people, maybe less so here in Italy, but in the UK, you can go to most places where you buy your food, and it's very, very difficult to know where that food is from. And in particular, the box delivery services as well. We did we did all of them anyways. I wouldn't say which one it was, but out of all of them, the Gustos, HelloFreshes, Odd Boxes, all these kinds of different ones that they had. I was very, very not surprised, but I was quite concerned by the lack of transparency with these products. And you're still paying quite a lot of money for these things. So the main feedback was, if you could tell me where it's from, that would make me even more inclined to buy it. I'll buy it because I know it's Italian food and it's made in Italy, and I love this product and I like this product and I want to try this pasta and all this kind of stuff. That's fantastic. But if then you then say to them, oh, you know where it's from now because it's actually recorded here in this ecosystem, and we've been talking with a company that's invested millions in this technology and has it down pat now. So we were going along the lines of trying to put hardware into each consignment, which now we don't have to do anymore, and we're very relieved because it gives us a much clearer picture of how the consumer will be able to trace precisely where this food is from. So without having to think about humidity, temperature and location, they'll be able to, with the QR code when they get their box, understand the producer estate, where it is from. And that is already a big game changer.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrien. And now it's Juan.
Sure, thank you. Hi, Jonathan. Congrats for the project. I just have only one question regarding certification also. Asking, I was thinking when you were talking about which is the need of another process to certificate something when so many certifications are on the market, right? Like all the trade products, all the farm to fork, the vegan, the vegetarian, the protected origin, the certification of origin that you already mentioned. So it's really hard for me to see the added value of the platform, right? Which I don't want to ask again what they ask, but it's really, I think, how can I say this properly? I think you're entering into a market where there are so many organizations that are building trust. Then now the customer will have to trust you instead of all the current players in the market, right? So how are you going to build around it? How are you going to build the company around that?
Well, so the idea of labels, these labels are, a lot of them that people put on their products are sort of not made up, but they're self-certified labels. It's a little bit disingenuous. For example, the fair trade that you mentioned, fair trade. So two countries that make the most chocolate, I think it's Guyana and Ivory Coast. These producers still have next to nothing in terms of the money that is then made by the chocolate industry, because the main reason is London sets the price of cocoa regardless of how much the producers are paid. So when you're talking about countries that send products to the UK, which is now going to be even more prominent because of things like Brexit and more suspect. If you give the consumer the opportunity to understand that these certificates are not just made up by the producers, so you have local certifications within each region in Italy. After that, you have the regional certifications, then you have the European certifications as well. You also have companies that are slow food. Slow food originated in Italy, and you have to be very, very strict. You cannot use, so even organic food, they can still use products which are not necessarily good for us to consume. Whereas if you're in a slow food process, like a friend of mine who has olive oil, you have to be very, very strict. And if you don't adhere to these principles and rules, regulations, you can get into trouble. So the whole Made in Italy brand is a very, very important brand. And it's, I'm not talking about the fashion, because fashion is, these things are made in other countries and put together in Italy. But the Italian food system is very, very highly regulated. And it has to be, because it has there's a big reputation responsibility. So in answer to your question, there are many companies that will do this kind of thing, but they're all very local. They're very localized. So for example, in the UK, you have lots of companies that will do locally sourced farm to fork, but international farm to fork is another thing entirely. And it's very rare that you'll find someone that you can actually, number one, buy from the consumer direct and discover their warehouse or their producer estate essentially, and their farm. Number two, choose that product and have it sent to you in the UK. So with aside from the user experience, which is all well and good, the crux of this business model is a direct consumer to producer channel without all the costs that are associated with that in between. But within the knowledge that you know you have a product that it says it's from where it is from. So you don't have to worry if you want to make a pasta with some olive oil that you know it's not from some random country where olive oil has been adulterated, and a lot of people don't understand, but olive oil it's most of the olive oil, even if it has it says organic olive oil, whatever it is, if you as long as you put a minimum amount in it according to certain regulations, you can call it extra virgin olive oil, and this is across the board, and it's not the healthiest thing. So so if you know, wow, I've got this bottle of olive oil, no one else is going to sell it, I've got it from this platform and I know where it's from and I can see the producer and I can create a bond with that. I think it has a much higher value, especially now, and things are just going to get not worse, but things are going to get much more let me I don't know, I'm trying to phrase this in the right way. Things are going to get much more complicated in terms of origin and provenance, and some of the big supermarkets are trying to push the whole idea of oh, this is where the packaging is from, but they don't necessarily want the consumer to know where the food is from, because otherwise they can't make these big profits on them. And that's the major thing. Big producers, big distributors, they don't want necessarily that knowledge base, because it puts them at a disadvantage, and that's what gives us more of an advantage as a new business.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you very much, Juan.
Thank you, Juan. And now it's Owen.
Thanks, Jonathan, for the pitch. I don't have too many questions left after all these. I guess my only point was with regards to scale up. How much fundraising do you foresee to need to get to the next stages of warehouses across the UK, and also to launch in France, India, and the other target markets?
So we have a pre-money valuation now of 1.9 million. Our ask is 250 at the moment, £250,000. That would give us a runway for about 10 months till about January 24, more or less. I mean, if we started now, more or less, we'd have to then go back and, we'd have to fundraise again. Mm-hmm. We would be self-sufficient by about month 18. Month 18, 17, 18, we'll break even. We have a £25,000 burn rate per month. Month on month for customer retention rates are about 2 to 4%. But we're working on a business model that we can then replicate. So with warehousing costs, as we have to keep to a minimum, and marketing as well and everything else, we're looking about 25, 30K a month. Once we can consolidate those areas, those regions, we can replicate this anywhere really. London would be the most expensive, to be honest. But that's fine because I believe that it is for us the place to start the business, and then from there we can move to where we feel that there's a market. England is actually the third most important market for Italian food. The first is actually Germany in Europe. Actually, first in globally is America, which we will hopefully get to. But in Europe, it's Germany, followed by France, followed by the UK. But the UK moves at a much quicker pace, and so that's why I'm very adamant about starting operations here. And I understand the market and I understand how things work. And my partners, they understand Italy, so it's for us that makes more sense. And well, my German's pretty bad right now, so I have to brush up on it before we go over there for sure.
Thanks. That's all from my end.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for your feedback. So this was the final pitch for tonight. So let me thank everyone for joining, and congrats again to the presenters, and I hope everyone enjoyed the event. I will be sharing the contact dates, as I mentioned. Also, I will be sharing the recording for sharing or rewatching. And the next Food Tech event will take place in June, and I really hope to see you all there. So I was also really happy about that. I will, of course, send you all the information in my follow-up email. Also, I have a Green Tech event coming up on 31st of May. You're all very welcome to join. And so big thank you to the board members for the valuable feedback and for their time. And so now is the moment of the roundtable. If every board member would like to say a few concluding remarks or a few words about the event or about the startups that we listened to. So let's begin the other way around. Let's begin with Owen.
No, I think thanks for this. It's the first time that I'm taking part, and I think it's a really good exercise. I'd be happy also to participate in future events, and also like diverse mix from different verticals would be interesting. That's all.
Great, thank you so much for joining. It was a pleasure. Okay, and then Juan.
Well, thank you. Also my first time here, and great exercise, great couple of examples of the food tech scene in Europe. One more e-commerce and the other one more related to food tech. And very, very insightful and great to stay in touch for future events.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, and Adrien.
Yes, I mean, same as for Juan and Owen. It's my first time here. Very interesting format. I think it's great that we have the time as well to ask very targeted questions to each of the different companies. So yeah, definitely interested to join next events as well.
Great, thank you so much. Actually, it's the first event, the first food tech event at the Startup Club. So it's also first time for me. So yeah, thank you so much. And Sofija?
Yeah, I want to thanks to all of you for the good pitch you had. Happy to be part of this. And maybe just final comments to the bold startups. I think Hempeat, I wish you a good of luck. Rockstart usually invest in pre-seed and seed stages, and then when it comes to higher evaluation and higher ask, we go always with the lead partner. But we are always open if you need to be in touch with us. For Jonathan, I would like to see more of buyers and customers, personas, or any kind of narratives or sayings from their side to kind of strengthen the pitch a little bit, maybe more point out the value and the pain points you have for the customers. A bit of a roadmap, maybe how and what's your ask. I felt like that was missing at the end. I wish you good luck. You're more than welcome to always apply at Rockstart. I think we are in the stage where you ask for for the funding up to 260,000 euros. So if you're interested, always welcome to even be in touch with me, write me and so on. Thank you for the invitation and looking forward for your next events. Thank you, Matilda.
Thank you. Great. Thank you, everyone. So have a good night and see you soon at the Startup Club. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thanks.
See you.
For that.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.